They say life is full of choices, full of doors waiting to be opened. But what if I told you that the door you're meant to walk through was already chosen? That before you took your first breath, before you dreamed your first dream, the door that leads to your purpose, your wealth, your peace, and your destiny was already there, waiting for you. This is not a story of chance. It is the unfolding of a divine plan, and you, whether you know it or not, are walking the path to it. But the question is, will you have the courage to knock, the faith to turn the knob, and the persistence to walk through? Napoleon Hill once wrote that all achievement begins with an idea, a thought, a desire so definite and persistent that it refuses to be denied. He taught that we must form a clear picture of what we want and hold it in our minds with such intensity that it begins to attract everything necessary for its fulfillment. But what powers that image? What fuels that desire when the world tells you it's impossible? It is faith, not blind faith, but faith rooted in a higher law. And that higher law tells us that nothing is random. Everything happens for a reason, even the delays, even the detours, because God already chose your door. There are moments in life when you're surrounded by nothing but closed doors, one after another, slammed shut, rejections, failures, losses. And in those moments, it's easy to believe that maybe there is no door for you, that maybe you're forgotten, overlooked, or just not good enough. But listen to me carefully. Closed doors are not your enemy. They are divine redirection, each one saying, "Not this way. There's a better path, a chosen path." And the people who succeed, who truly live out their purpose, are the ones who trust the process even when they don't understand it. Napoleon Hill emphasized that every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. That seed is often hidden in disappointment, but to the trained eye, to the faithful mind, it is a sign. When you are met with defeat, do not give up. That defeat is shaping you, refining you, preparing you. God does not waste effort. The trials, the tears, the waiting, all of it is part of your development. Why? Because when you walk through your chosen door, you must be strong enough to stay there. It takes more than luck to live your destiny. It takes character, and character is forged in the waiting rooms of life. When you plant a seed in the soil, you don't dig it up every day to check its progress. You water it. You protect it. You believe that in due time it will break through the ground. That is how your dream works. That is how your destiny unfolds. It does not scream. It whispers. And if you're too distracted, too doubtful, too discouraged, you may miss the gentle knock of the door that was chosen just for you. The secret is to prepare as though the door could open any moment. Because it could. Napoleon Hill spoke often of definiteness of purpose. Without it, he said, you drift. You become a ship without a rudder, tossed by the waves of other people's opinions, other people's fears. But when you decide, truly decide, that your life matters, that your dreams are worth fighting for, something shifts. The universe begins to respond, resources appear, people cross your path, opportunities emerge. And no, it's not coincidence. It's alignment. You are finally moving toward the door that was already there. So many people live as though they're waiting for permission to start, waiting for signs, for clarity, for everything to feel right. But clarity doesn't come before action. It comes after. You must begin with what you have, from where you are. The vision in your mind is proof that the door exists. You wouldn't be able to see it otherwise. Desire is spiritual. It's divine. It's a message from your Creator that says, this way. And when you feel that deep longing, that inner voice that won't go silent, pay attention. That is not fantasy. That is direction. But beware. The chosen door doesn't always look like you expect. Sometimes it's disguised as loss. Sometimes it looks like a step down. Sometimes it's wrapped in humility, in work that nobody notices. And if you're too focused on what you think success should look like, you might overlook the very opportunity that was meant for you. Greatness often enters through the back door, quietly, without applause. And if your ego is too loud, you'll never hear its entrance. Hill wrote that thoughts are things, that every great success starts with belief, followed by thought, followed by action. But the first thought must be, it is possible. Not because you see it, but because you believe in what you do not see. That is faith. That is the spiritual bridge between your dream and its manifestation. The world will demand proof. It will ask for guarantees. But God does not work in guarantees. He works in alignment, timing, and obedience. Your job is not to understand every step. Your job is to trust that the next step will be revealed in time. People give up because they expect the path to be smooth. But smooth paths rarely lead to extraordinary destinations. The road to your chosen door is narrow. It will test your patience, your resilience, and your discipline. But if you keep moving, if you refuse to quit, you will find it. And when you do, it won't be a surprise. You'll feel a strange familiarity, as if you've been there before. Because you have. In your mind, in your spirit. You were drawn to it, and it was waiting for you the whole time. There's a reason the dream came to you and not someone else. That vision, that idea, that goal, it is tied to your fingerprint. Nobody else can bring it to life the way you can. It is your assignment, your divine door. And though others may walk beside you, nobody can walk through it for you. You must make the decision. You must have the courage to believe that even if you can't see the full staircase, taking the first step will activate something powerful in your life. Napoleon Hill warned against drifting. The drifter waits. The drifter makes excuses. The drifter doubts and delays and blames circumstances. But the thinker, the doer, the believer, they act. They decide. They trust that there is a hand guiding them even when the way is unclear. Drifting is the enemy of destiny. If you drift too long, you may miss the season you were meant to step into. And every season has an expiration date. The truth is, fear will always try to block the door. It will whisper lies. What if it doesn't work? What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? But fear is just the absence of faith. Replace it with belief, and the door begins to glow. Your energy changes. You walk different, talk different, think different. And suddenly, what once seemed impossible starts to feel inevitable. You were not created to wander aimlessly. You were created with purpose, on purpose, for purpose. And your success is not accidental. It is intentional. But it requires your participation. The door was chosen, yes, but you still have to turn the knob. You still have to show up every day with discipline, with gratitude, with vision, because nothing happens until you move. Action is the final ingredient. Action births miracles. And as you move, expect resistance, expect doubt, expect storms. But also expect favor, expect breakthroughs, expect divine appointments. Your journey won't look like anyone else's because your door is not theirs. Don't compare paths. Don't envy timelines. Trust the preparation. Trust that delay is not denial. It is divine timing. When the moment comes, when the door opens, you'll realize that everything you endured was preparing you for what was always meant to be yours. So stand tall. Speak life over your dreams. Look ahead with expectation. The road may twist. The climb may be steep. But the destination is sure. And deep down, something inside you knows it's true. You didn't come this far just to stop. You didn't survive the fire to sit in fear. You were chosen. The door was chosen. And everything in your life has been moving you closer to it. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep knocking. Because your door, your divine door, already exists. God already chose it. Now it's your turn to walk through. You didn't stumble upon your dream by accident. You were given that vision because you have the capacity to fulfill it. It was planted in the soil of your soul long before you ever saw its shape. The world may try to convince you that you're aiming too high, that you're asking for too much. But don't listen. Dreams are not random. They are assignments. And your dream is evidence that your door already exists. It is not a question of if, but when, and how willing you are to keep walking when the road disappears beneath your feet. Napoleon Hill said, "Faith is the only known antidote to failure. Faith is not hoping everything works out. Faith is knowing that even if it doesn't work the way you imagined, it will work for your good." Faith is walking when you don't see the path. It's believing when no one else believes. It's trusting that behind what looks like confusion, there is order. Behind what feels like chaos, there is structure. God is not trying to figure things out. He already has. And your only job is to align your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, and your habits with the truth that your door has already been chosen. Many people waste years trying to break through walls that were never meant to be opened. They pound on the wrong doors, chase goals that were never theirs, mimic others, and wonder why they feel empty. It's not because they're weak, it's because they're misaligned. The fastest way to frustration is to force a door that was not assigned to you. The most powerful thing you can do is pause, get quiet, and ask, what door has already been chosen for me? What vision keeps returning no matter how far I run? That's your clue. That's your compass. Follow it. You were not meant to live in confusion. You were created to walk in clarity, to operate in power. That doesn't mean you'll have all the answers. It means you'll have the right ones at the right time. There is a divine rhythm to success. It doesn't respond to panic. It responds to peace. When you begin to operate from a place of internal certainty, you will see external confirmation. But it starts with stillness. It starts with listening. Because often the door doesn't shout. It waits, quietly, until you're ready. Napoleon Hill spoke of the sixth sense, that intuitive faculty that kicks in once you've aligned your thoughts with purpose and elevated your vibration. That voice, that feeling, that nudge, that's not random. That's divine intelligence guiding you to your appointed place. But if you doubt it, ignore it, or drown it with noise, you'll miss it. Your greatest asset is not your talent, your money, or your education. It is your ability to hear and respond to your inner guidance. That is the signal from the divine. That is the whisper from the door. Every time you ignore your calling, you delay your destiny. Every time you choose fear over faith, doubt over belief, comfort over challenge, you take a step away from your door. But the good news is, the door doesn't disappear. It waits, patiently, like a lighthouse standing firm through every storm. It doesn't move. It doesn't change. And the moment you decide to come back, with humility, with hunger, with a teachable spirit, it begins to open again. Your destiny does not respond to arrogance. It responds to obedience. You cannot shortcut alignment. You cannot cheat preparation. Hill taught that success must be earned, and the earning begins in the mind. You must believe before you see. You must speak it before it happens. You must act as though you are worthy of it, even when nothing around you confirms that belief. That is the test. That is the fire. And only those who endure it can handle the weight of walking through the door they were chosen for. Don't be fooled by appearances. Just because something looks hard doesn't mean it's not right. Just because it takes longer doesn't mean it's not divine. There's a hidden economy of time and energy that only the faithful understand. The ones who make it are not the luckiest. They are the most committed. They show up even when it hurts. They speak life even when it feels like death. They choose belief over bitterness. And slowly, steadily, the door opens. You are not disqualified by your past. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not behind. Everything that happened, the wrong turns, the heartbreaks, the betrayals, was a necessary part of the path. Nothing was wasted. Everything was used. Because God does not write crooked stories. He writes redemptive ones. And the mess you thought would destroy you, that mess is the exact material He's using to build your miracle. But He needs your agreement, your participation, your effort. Hill taught that the subconscious mind responds to repetition. What you tell yourself, it believes. What you focus on, it magnifies. And if you continue to declare defeat, doubt, and limitation, your mind will reflect exactly that. But if you shift, if you begin to affirm that you are worthy, that you are called, that your door is opening, your mind will reprogram itself. And once the mind is convinced, the world begins to align. Words are power. What you say about your life becomes your life. Speak as though the door is already open. Speak as though your breakthrough is already in motion. Speak as though God already made the way, because He did. You just haven't reached it yet. But your faith, your discipline, your persistence, these are the tools that carry you there. And they must be used daily. You will face opposition. Every great vision will be tested. But tests are not punishments. They are preparations. You are being equipped for what is coming. If it feels hard, it's because you're leveling up. If it feels confusing, it's because your old way of thinking is being challenged. Let it. Growth is uncomfortable. Change is disruptive. But transformation requires both. You are not becoming someone new. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. And in that becoming, you will start to see new doors. Doors that were always there but hidden. You'll realize you were never waiting on the door. The door was waiting on you, waiting on your maturity, your readiness, your belief. And once you step into that alignment, everything changes. People begin to respond to you differently. Opportunities start showing up. Favor follows you. And it's not magic, it's manifestation. It's the law of vibration meeting the law of faith. Napoleon Hill never wrote about luck, he wrote about laws. Laws that govern success just as surely as gravity governs the earth. And one of those laws is that energy follows intention. When your intention is clear and your belief is unshakable, your energy becomes magnetic. You begin to attract what matches your frequency. But it takes courage to stay there, to not settle, to not lower your standards or silence your dreams to fit in. You were not made to fit in. You were made to walk through the door that fits only you. The world needs what you carry, your vision, your voice, your fire. But it won't ask nicely. It won't always recognize your value. That's why you must validate yourself first. You must affirm your worth daily, not from ego, but from divine identity. You were chosen, not because you're perfect, but because you're willing. And the moment you decide to act like it, speak like it, think like it, doors begin to swing open. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need you to believe in you. That's where power begins. That's where mountains move. One person with aligned intention, divine purpose, and unwavering faith is more powerful than 1,000 doubters. History was changed by individuals who refused to back down, refused to give up, refused to settle. And so can you. This is your reminder. You are not behind. You are not off course. You are exactly where you need to be to receive your next instruction. The detours were part of it. The waiting was part of it. The silence was part of it. And soon, it will make sense. But don't wait for it to make sense to take the next step. Take it now. In faith, in trust, in boldness. And the way will appear, because the door is already there, and God already chose it. There comes a moment when you must stop looking for signs and start becoming one. A sign of belief. A sign of perseverance, a sign that faith still walks among us. You don't need more evidence. You are the evidence. You've made it through storms that were designed to drown you. You've endured heartbreaks that could have buried your spirit. And yet, you're still here, still dreaming, still reaching. That in itself is proof that the door is real and closer than you think. Napoleon Hill said that every man who has ever been truly great, every man who has reached the top of his calling has been a dreamer. But dreaming is not enough. Dreaming is the seed, the work, the belief, the persistence. That's the water. And most people stop watering because they don't see immediate fruit. They walk away right before the breakthrough, right before the door unlocks. And that's the tragedy. The dream didn't die. The belief did, but not you. You're not going to quit on the thing that won't quit on you. You're going to keep showing up for it, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts, because hurt is often the hallway to your chosen door. Pain doesn't mean something is wrong. Sometimes it means something is shifting. And most people fear the shift because it requires letting go of what's familiar. But you can't grab hold of your future while clinging to your past. The door is ahead, not behind. Think of how many doors you've already walked through. Doors you didn't even know were opening at the time. Moments you thought were coincidences, only to realize later they were orchestrated. That's how divine timing works. It doesn't need your understanding, just your cooperation. Hill taught that opportunity often comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. So don't curse your setbacks. Don't resent the detours. Every one of them carved the path you're on now. Some people will try to distract you. They'll tell you to be realistic, to lower your expectations, to choose a door that's closer, easier, safer. But here's the truth. Safety has never birthed greatness. Playing small won't protect you. It will suffocate you. Because when you know deep down that you were born for more, nothing less will ever satisfy. You'll smile on the outside, but ache on the inside. So stop apologizing for dreaming big. That dream is your map. That door is your destination. And no matter how long it takes, the door won't vanish. It won't forget you. It won't close because you made mistakes. That's not how grace works. That's not how purpose works. If the door was chosen for you, it will wait for you. Not in the same physical location, but in your soul's alignment. Napoleon Hill believed in the power of autosuggestion, feeding your subconscious mind the truth until your entire being believes it. So say it. I am walking toward my door. My path is prepared. My opportunity is aligned. My faith is stronger than my fear. Repeat it, feel it, breathe it. Because when your inner world changes, your outer world has no choice but to follow. You may feel tired. You may feel like the journey is endless. But remember, fatigue is not failure. Rest if you must, but do not stop. The moment you stop moving is the moment you freeze your momentum. Keep going, even if it's slow. Even if all you can do today is take one step, write one sentence, make one call, think one empowering thought and that's progress. And progress compounds. There's a rhythm to your journey. Some seasons will feel fast and fiery. Others will feel still and silent. Don't confuse silence with stagnation. Some of your most critical growth happens underground. Unseen, uncelebrated, but necessary. The caterpillar doesn't panic in the cocoon. It trusts the process. It knows the struggle is part of the transformation. So must you. Do not despise small beginnings. Every door of greatness begins as a crack in the wall, and sometimes that crack is found in your own limitations. The lies you've believed about who you are and what you deserve, they're cracks. Let light through them. Let truth through them. And soon, what looked like a limitation becomes your liberation. Hill wrote that, "You can think your way into or out of almost any circumstance, and that power is yours. Right now, in this moment." Your chosen door does not respond to self-pity. It responds to self-leadership. You must rise above your excuses, above your distractions, above your emotional storms, and lead yourself toward what was promised. Because you are not a victim of life. You are a co-creator of it. Your thoughts, your habits, your words, they are bricks. Build with them carefully. There will be moments when your old self tries to pull you back. Old habits, old doubts, old identities, but every time you say no to the old, you say yes to the new. Every time you say, "That's not me anymore," you become more of who you truly are. The door doesn't open for who you were, it opens for who you're becoming. The question is, are you becoming that person? Success is not an accident. It is a byproduct of clarity, commitment, and consistency. Most people want quick rewards. They want the finish line without the miles. But life doesn't work like that. Purpose doesn't work like that. You can't microwave destiny. You must bake it slowly, with patience, with preparation, with fire. And sometimes the fire feels unfair. But fire doesn't just burn, it refines. It removes what can't come with you. People may not understand your journey. That's okay. They weren't given your vision. Don't waste time explaining the direction of your spirit to those who are still navigating theirs. Walk in quiet confidence. Let your results speak. Let your discipline speak. Let your peace speak. When your actions match your assignment, people will see it for themselves. And even if they don't, that doesn't change your truth. Remember this: you are not chasing a door. You are aligning with it. The chase implies distance, but alignment is proximity. It means the door is already here, within reach, just waiting for the version of you that is bold enough to knock. And you must knock. Hill wrote that the door opens to those who are persistent to the point of obsession, not desperate, not reckless, but committed with holy fire. So ask yourself, what do I need to release? What thoughts, habits, or fears are standing between me and the next version of myself? And then do the work. Every morning, choose belief, choose alignment, choose excellence, because the person who walks through the door is not the same person who found it. That's the secret. The door not only leads you somewhere, it transforms you into someone. You may not feel ready, but readiness is often revealed, not required. Sometimes walking toward the door is what makes you ready. Sometimes saying yes is the activation. And when you say yes, not to the easy road, but to the right one, everything shifts. The right people arrive. The right ideas download. The right timing reveals itself. Because God already knew the steps. You're just catching up. You don't need to know every move, just the next one. Obey the next instruction. Make the next decision with integrity. Show up today like it matters because it does. Everything you do now is a rehearsal for the moment the door swings wide. And when it does, you won't be surprised. You'll be prepared, because deep down you always knew, you always felt it, that pull, that whisper, that persistent sense that you were meant for more. And now you know why, because more was already written, already woven, already chosen. God already chose your door.